Hey guys, if you feel like the market was a roller coaster today, you are not alone. The big question we have to ask though is how do you make sense of these big swings in the markets and how do you turn them into trading opportunities? That's what we're here to answer today. How do we basically take the opportunities and put money in your pocket? Let's dive right in right now to see what was driving the market this morning. The first thing was interest rates are basically the inflation report, which is leading people to believe that it lessens the potential for the Fed to do a 50 basis point reduction in September. That's next Wednesday, guys. And so, what we may also see from the market as they move towards that first cut in interest rates next Wednesday, we may see a lot of noisiness, a lot of chaotic type price action. However, there are some really interesting potential stocks that we're going to take a look at, but I'm going to take a look at a couple of them that are kind of like getting the snot beat out of them. And then the other thing driving the market this morning, I think, is who won the debate? Who won the debate? There's a lot of debate about the debate and who won it because clearly whoever won it, the market really didn't like it first thing this morning. But, and this is a big but, the market did respond positively by the end of the day. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at a couple of these stocks. Well, these stocks got more than a couple, and some ETFs that you may just want to be looking at going into the rest of the year. So hold on. Okay, guys, first up is JP Morgan. What the heck's going on with JP Morgan? Well, like a lot of the other bank stocks, it was selling off big time yesterday, but it looks like it's found some support. Longer term, though, are we really headed for a downside mark? JP Morgan, basically, JP Morgan warned today that earnings estimates for 2024 were overly optimistic and caused the stock to drop 5.2% yesterday. This kind of news is a major red flag to the investors and especially the financial sector that had basically come up and put in a new high. If you're looking at trading, like XLF, however, it has now fallen down and has dropped below major support of the 50-day moving average, and of course the 200-day moving average is down here. So if you're holding bank stocks, stand by for a very rocky ride. Currently, the analysts are calling for JP Morgan to be, they're mixed on it. They're either hold or buy, but I have a price target of 165. That's the median price target, which is, guess what? Way below where we currently are. Next up is one of my favorite stocks. Well, that's not really one of my favorite stocks, but it is a stock that is a Mag 7 stock. Why is Warren Buffett selling out of this stock? That's the big thing we want to know. What does he know that we don't know? Is he just basically rebalancing his portfolio? Or is he just trying to raise cash as the market continues to melt down so he'll be ready for a better trade going forward? As you can see, actually, Apple's looking pretty positive from a technical standpoint. It's bouncing off the 50-day moving average here, and the momentums are starting to turn up on the daily chart. That is out of sync with what's going over here on the weekly chart because the momentum is still pointing down, and I've got a nice negative divergence on my my market forecast, the green line, as we came up and tested this past high, and we're going to sell off. Well, price action did move back above the 8-day moving average today. That's positive. Am I a buyer of Apple? No. I think there's some better deals out there. And Apple, the analysts remain bullish with a median price target of $265, all the way up to a high of $300. So, hey guys, if you're finding this analysis helpful, and you want to make sure you don't miss out when I do post these updates, then basically hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and I encourage you, share this content with your friends, other traders. I've been trading for a long time, and I love sharing my knowledge and what I've experienced over the last 30 years in the market with you. And again, like I said, don't forget to click that notification bell. So now let's get into some of the stocks that I am really, really, really interested in from the long side. First up is NVDA, of course. NVDA did a really nice recovery today. Um, as you can see, had a nice bounce off of, I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, this is, you can't make this stuff up. Off the support line last week, and now it is rallying. Notice that this current rally is with increasing volume. What does that tell us? That tells us, hey, we may be getting some traction to the upside. How do I want to play NVIDIA going forward? A couple of different ways. I can look for a pullback into the midsection of today's candlestick, or I could also look for just, again, trade it off the 8-day moving average. Now, if I break out, if it gaps up in the morning, that would be a clue to say, hey, go ahead and jump on this trade to the upside. Upside targets on this would be, of course, back up to these past highs here, and then the all-time up here at 140. What's interesting is the analysts also are calling for NVDA. They're calling for they are very bullish on NVIDIA. Overwhelmingly bullish is what they say, largely due to the dominance in AI and GPU production. Projected high price target by $600. Projected median price target, $500. Projected, and this is over the next year or so, projected low price target, $400. So that's pretty darn aggressive. One of the ways I'll be looking at trading NVDA, and this is a little bonus for you, is to trade NVDL. This is the leverage ETF, two-time leverage ETF of NVDA. And oh boy, it has weekly options. You can do a lot with this, and the price right now is about $54.60. Look for a pullback into the midsection of today's candlestick for a potential entry with a stop out just slightly below the low of today. What's the next one up? Well, one you've noticed before, we talked about this a lot, is Tesla. Tesla continues to just eke its way up the 8-day moving average. Since it's broken back out, it is holding this support line, and we started to push back out. I will like Tesla a lot better once we break out above the 235 level, which is right there. But notice what it's respecting. It's respecting the 8 and the 50-day moving average. Now, today's candlestick, yes, it is a hammer. No, it is not a reversal hammer because it's not at the end of a downtrend. But it's continuing to move up very nicely. This is another one of those where I would trade it off of the 8 period moving average, or if I break above this 235 level, that would be another indication of where I would want to start trading it from there. If we gap up tomorrow, who knows? If the market follows through nicely tomorrow on this initial surge, that would be a good, it could potentially gap up, and then the bottom of the gap becomes my strong level of support. Analysts are also bullish on Tesla, believe it or not, both from not only its EV capability, but also all the peripherals that go with the EVs and its strong presence in the AI space. Price targets, high price target to 330. So that sounds reasonable. Median price targets, 295, and the low price target is 210. The major concern that analysts have over Tesla is that she's a very, very volatile stock. Last one, I'm going to leave you guys with a leverage ETF to be taking a look at. And that is, it was a toss-up between TQQ and TNA. I'm going to go ahead and throw out TNA, and I'll explain why as we move on. The reason I'm throwing out TNA rather than TQQ is I have a reversal signal. I have a really nice hammer. This is very classic, where we get a hammer yesterday, followed by an outside day hammer today. And that now the downside of TNA is that it is below the moving averages, including the 200-day moving average. With that said, we have to also take a look, though, at IWM in this case. Is it also below the 200? And the answer to that is no, it is not. It's way above the 200. And so let's see if we can push back above the 8 and the 50-day moving average. And that's a little clue. That's a really nice little clue that you should take advantage of, is when you're looking at the leverage ETFs, remember to take a look at the non-leverage ETF that they're related to. The non-leverage ETF, if you're not, either that or the index itself, they have the purest technical signs. And so in that particular case, knowing that the non-leverage is above the 200, that is a bullish sign for us, even though TNA itself is below. So what would be my potential trade on this? I would like to pick it up probably in the middle of today's wick, or I may pick it up in the body. If it also gaps up, look where it might gap up into. If it gaps up into the 8-day moving average, that's no bueno. That's no good, because basically that's a level of resistance. And so I would rather catch it down a little bit lower and let it gain some additional momentum to go ramming up through the resistance formed by the moving averages. Once we get back above the 50, watch it to go back and test up here at the past $50 level. And from where we're at right now up to that level would be about a $33% move. So again, I look for moves in TNA and TQQ, 15%, 20%, 25%. That's where I try to take profits on them, and because then they will reset, and then you do it all over again. And I'll be putting out in the very near future a really good video that's going to tie a lot of pieces together to show people how to be very profitable trading TQQQ. I do have some videos that are out there right now that talk about TQQQ, but I have basically been doing some additional research. And wouldn't you like to know how to refine your trading for TQQ? That's what we're going to be offering. So real quick, so, what are your thoughts about Warren Buffett selling and dumping Apple? Or what do you think about Tesla's push into AI? So, hey, let's keep the conversation going. And up here above my head will be a new, another video that you want to take a look at, because it's going to basically help you basically continue to chase bigger gains and also stay informed about what's going on in the market. So check out that video. Aloha. God bless everybody.